Good morning, everybody, and thanks a lot to Anna for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Anne Borestam. I'm an advisor at the Payments Department of the Riksbank. And digitalization and globalization have quite considerably changed the area of payments in the last 10, 15 years. Some of us still remember when a credit transfer took 3 days, when you only could sign up for a direct debit by putting your signature on a paper, when you could make overdrafts with your card since the terminals were not online. And some of you might even remember the very old handheld things, copying your card information by pore pressure. Those were indeed the days. But time has changed since then, and will change even more. As you can see from the graph, cash usage is going down in Sweden rather rapidly. Being questions about how they paid for the last purchase in 2010. Almost 40% of the respondents stated that they have paid the last purchase in cash. In 2020, it was less than 10% paying the last purchase in cash. Quite a considerable decline. In the 2020 survey, people were also asked if they would manage without cash. 71% of the respondents say they would manage without cash, and only 26 said they wouldn't. This change is also very apparent in Stockholm, where quite a number of shops and restaurants are not accepting cash at all. And quite a difference to Germany, where I used to live. There is, of course, a change towards electronic payments in Germany too, but opposite to Sweden, in Germany there are still smaller shops and restaurants which are not accepting anything else than cash. The changeover to electronic payments have further increased in the last years due to the pandemic, where, for example, the usage of Swish and cards have increased by elderly people. Well, what could the reason be behind this change? I don't think it's because people doesn't like our new notes and coins, but because there are other means of payment which are more convenient and easy to use. And during the last years, we have seen new actors carving out profitable parts of the payment chain. We have seen new devices and new techniques, smartphones, NFC, crypto assets, Apple Pay, Bank ID, and also new services, instant payments, person-to-person payment, payment initiation, e-wallets. The choice is wider, and the process of payment is smoother, faster, and much more convenient than it used to be. The benefits are not only with the consumers, but also with merchants and other entities. A wider choice of payments and competition among providers are bringing prices down. Payments are now adapted to the special need of e-commerce. Harmonized EU legislation has supported the provision of payments cross-border, for example, the single passport for payment service providers. The Riksbank is the world's oldest central bank, founded in 1668. This does, however, not mean that we are old-minded. I would rather say that we are quite on top of innovation. You see here a few examples of what we're currently working on, and I will say a few words on each of them. I will start with Echrono. Interesting and indeed challenging. We are among the first central banks looking into the possibilities of issuing a central bank digital currency, CBDC, or an Echrono as we call it. The reason for initiating this work was a steep reduction in cash usage, which you saw on my first slide. And this development raised some concern that in the long run, cash would disappear, and the people would no longer have access to state-issued money. The question came up, it was time now to modernize cash and make it fit for the digital economy. Early 2017, The Riksbank started a project analyzing the scope of a potential Echrono as a complement to cash. Dialogue with a number of different actors. We have looked at proposals for a suitable technology, and we have examined the legal issues which have to be dealt with. We are also running a pilot project together with Accenture on a technical solution for an Echrono based on DLT. An Echrono would give the general public access to digital complement to cash, where the state would guarantee the value of the money. And by definition, an Echrono would be a digital form of payment and could also be designed with the aim of including all groups in society. In addition, an Echrono could form its own separate system and thereby strengthen the resilience of the payment system. In the event of serious shocks to the system of the banks or card companies, an Echrono could be an alternative form of payment. And an Echrono would therefore fulfill the same task that cash has fulfilled so far, providing a state payment alternative that is available to all and that complements the supply of payment services from the private sector. There is, however, no formal decision yet on issuing of an Echrono, how an Echrono might be designed, or what technology might be used. The main aim of the project is still to increase our knowledge of what could be required to issue an Echrono. Considering the growing importance of instant payments, the Riksbank has decided to complement its RTGS system with an instant settlement service, Riksinst. The settlement will be provided in TIPS, the Eurosystem's target instant payment settlement platform. An agreement was concluded with the Eurosystem in April last year, and we are currently busy with the implementation, aiming to launch the service in May 2022. And connecting to TIPS will allow the Riksbank to provide instant settlement 24/7, 365 in central bank money to the Swedish market. It will also be possible to move liquidity between Riks RTGS and Riksinst almost around the clock, 23/7. Connecting to TIPS will also bring us closer to the euro area and be a good basis for the development of new and innovative payment services. TIPS is a multi-currency platform, which means that it can process several currencies simultaneously, but without alterations. The transactions are processed in separate pipes, and the current setup doesn't allow any change to other currency during the process. However, with two currencies on the same platform, even if they are processed in separate pipes, the idea came up if it would be possible to build a settlement system for instant cross-currency payments on top of the already existing TIPS platform. Indeed, an interesting idea. And we have therefore initiated some work together with the ECB, looking into potential features and models of such a service. We are initially looking at transactions in Swedish krona euro. But if such a service would be set up, its usefulness would of course grow with the number of currencies connecting. And I would guess it would have the potential to be very much appreciated in areas neighboring country borders. For example, Öresund, the border area Sweden-Denmark, where there is a lot of cross-border commuting, cross-border commerce, and people living in one country but working in the other. Instant settlement of cross-currency transactions would provide banks and other payment service providers with an opportunity to develop innovative services directed to European users. And it would furthermore strengthen Europe as a payment service under European governance. BIS, the Bank of International Settlement, has initiated what they call innovation hubs. The aim of these hubs is to identify and develop in-depth insights into critical trends in financial technology, to enhance the functioning of the global financial system, and to be a focal point for a network of central bank experts on innovation. In 2019, BIS established innovation hubs in Hong Kong, Switzerland, and Singapore. And last year, they extended the network by establishing 4 new hubs: Toronto, London, Frankfurt, Paris, and Stockholm. And we are very proud of being trusted with one of these hubs, which we will run together with the central banks of Denmark, Iceland, and Norway. And the opportunity to do in-depth research into digital solutions and financial technology innovations is something which we are very much looking forward to do. And we are currently busy with all the practicalities for setting up the hub. But we're hoping to bring forward more information about its setup and tasks in due time. Dilan Ölcher, who is responsible for the setting up of the hub in Stockholm, is participating in the panel on how do we enhance innovation forces in Swedish fintech tomorrow afternoon. And you might hear more about the innovation hub then. Well, I think it's time to wrap up. We have seen a lot of developments in the last years, and a lot more to come. We are in the middle of a new era for payments, new means of payment, new actors, and new technical solutions. Payments are being integrated in the purchase process, less and less visible. Authentication, not only based on PINs and TANs and biometrics, but also on our historical data and previous ways of interaction. Established actors being challenged by niche actors, startups, and big techs. The market is growing from national to European and further beyond. And the payments business would have to follow. In order to do so, we have to continue working on harmonization, standardization, and interoperability. Some might find it cumbersome. Innovation is costly, takes time, and it might not immediately pay off. But doing nothing is not an alternative, because the world is changing, irrespectively of what we are doing. Having said that, I'm very much looking forward to the 2 panels which are now to follow. The first one on making instant cross-border payments a reality, and the second one, how is open banking paving the way for the digital transformation of payments. Thanks a lot for your attention, and wishing you all a nice day.